Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. We ended last time having some technical difficulties and things before we entered whatever this is. So we're going to go enter whatever this is. All right, we are live. It's an honor to finally meet you. We of the Garland Ironworks will be ferrying you and your contingent across the mountains and into Garlemald. For many of us, it'll be something of a homecoming. Our illustrious founder was only our most notable Imperial defector. For that reason, the company is committed to the success of this expedition. Our resources are at your disposal, and if there is aught we might do to be of further assistance, please do not hesitate to ask. If you are ready to depart, I will ready the engines. Upon boarding the airship, several cutscenes will play in sequence. It is recommended that you set aside sufficient time to view these scenes in their entirety. In addition, you will be required to participate in battle. Your progress will be saved at certain points. In the event you are defeated, you will be able to try again from the most recent of these. Please note that if you enter battle associated with other quests or log out from the game, this progress will be lost. I do wonder why...
Ilsabard, divided in twain by a vast mountain range.
I'll let him
Those
itself
who would
talk.
traverse its jagged peaks face peril at every step. But why go by foot when one can simply fly?
I was going to say, I wonder why Garlemald is always shown shrouded in clouds like that.
On the outskirts of the Imperial capital, in the frozen wastes of the Magna Glacius, the winds howl in icy protest, as if to warn against further trespass.
Eveline, you're from Ishgard.
I know, right?
We've received word from Thancred's reconnaissance party.
Lucia almost looks like she's glowing in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
They've sighted a detachment of heavily armed Imperials.
Coat.
Mm-hmm.
Survivors of the Civil War, perhaps?
Perhaps, but there is more to it than that. Maxima reports that they're led by Vergilia, legatus of the 3rd Legion, which comprises the bulk of their number. However, they are also joined by several members of the 1st.
From what I recall, the 3rd Legion fought for Nerva in the War of Succession following Varus' death. The 1st, on the other hand, were under the direct command of the Emperor and rejected Nerva's claim to the throne. These legions were enemies.
Indeed. In fact, our sources claim that it was a conflict between them that sparked the Civil War. Yet now, these former foes cooperate to defend a ruined Garlemald from invasion.
Then it is all but certain they have been tempered.
So, what's the plan? If me and my crew is out reaving, we charge straight in, no messing about. But that ain't what we're here for.
Quite right. Soldiers or no, they are people of Garlemald, the very ones we have come to aid. Direct confrontation is unavoidable. Nevertheless, we must make every effort to limit casualties on both sides. Rather than kill them, I would remove them from the field.
How so? Savage beatings, disarmament, and imprisonment? Not impossible, but easier said than done in the heat of battle.
Having observed the opposition, I imagine Thancred had something to suggest?
He did. He and the other scouts have already infiltrated a supply depot some distance beyond the Imperial detachment's current position. Stored within is a stockpile of Magitech armaments. And once we give the signal, Thancred's team will destroy them all. In so doing, we will deprive frontline troops of materiel, and likely force the detachment to send men to investigate.
Divide and conquer. Not a bad idea.
Once the scouts have finished their preparations, we will split into 2 groups. The first will form the vanguard, while the other brings up the rear with our supplies. As for the Scions, I ask that you lend your assistance where you deem it needed most. I would prefer, however, that you accompany the rearguard and be prepared to join the van at a moment's notice. Kept in reserve as our trump card, so to speak.
Oh, I like Thancred's coat.
So do I.
Yeah.
Your proposal was well received. More specifically, they asked that we destroy the Imperial's toys in as spectacular a fashion as possible.
Ishtola always did have a flair for the dramatic. She's not an easy woman to please, but I shall do my best to satisfy her thirst for fireworks. All right. Once more for my peace of mind. Our first objective will be to rig the enemy's magitech with explosives. After we've withdrawn to a safe distance, we'll detonate them remotely. Our second will be to issue a deactivation command to the automated units via the control terminal. If our calculations are correct, this signal should reach those deployed on the front line, giving our friends a much-needed upper hand. The blizzard will help us stay hidden, so let's aim to get in and out before it passes. Trust in the plan, and we should all live to see tomorrow.
In the meantime, I will relay messages back and forth as the situation unfolds. You'll forgive me if I ask again, but are you certain you wish to play the lone wolf?
Wouldn't have it any other way. Call it foolish and reckless if you like, but I'll get the job done. I always do.
Very well. I wish you the best of luck.
That's nice. They added a little tutorial sequence that you can call up to tell you what Thancred's abilities do.
Keep your wits about you.
It's time. We only have one shot at this, so let's make it count. Damn, spotted.
Alright, which one puts him to sleep?
You need
Purple
to be.
X's.
You need to be in Swift Deception first, and then you can use Silent Takedown. Basically, you need to be stealthed to put them to sleep.
Yeah, yeah.
This is Thancred. The explosives are in place.
Very good. All is proceeding as planned. Head to the control terminal. It should be to the northwest.
Understood. Have the others wait at the rendezvous point. Must be losing my touch.
You are returned, and none the worse for wear, to my considerable relief.
What news from our comrades?
They stand at the ready.
Excellent. Then let the fireworks begin.
The blizzard's beginning to clear. The Vanguard should be engaging the Imperials any moment now, if they haven't already. Ishtola and the others are with them, so I'm sure they'll be all right, but... Wait! Something's coming!
Oi, oi! Looks like we ain't the only ones who sent out scouts. Keep them away from the carriages! We lose those, and we're as good as dead!
Fighters! Protect the others! A brief respite, but stay alert. Keep the carriages safe.
What impeccable timing! Fear not, friends! The savior of Ishgard is here!
A fine display, but the other carriages are still in danger. Go on ahead. We'll hold the line.
We're the only ones still struggling. Time we put our backs into it then. I've been itching for a good scrap. We're fine! I'm ready for more! Hear that? Get to the front and turn the tide!
Removed from the field was not a euphemism for enthusiastically murder.
It's nothing that won't heal in time. The trouble is, their tempering has made them utterly fearless. Subduing them would be easier if they had the capacity to submit in the first place.
Well, this is the path our young charges would have us walk, and that we all agreed to follow. You knew it would be hard, yet still you pledged your lance, did you not?
That I did.
That's Virgilia. Damn it. I need to help the others take her down.
There's no end to them!
I was wondering when you'd turn up. There's no stopping us now. Come on, let's show them what we're made of.
We have them now! Forward!
Right! Let them have it!
As a raging bull! That's her! Virgilia!
Do not fall behind!
Die! Tremble before the sun!
May your scream fill the air!
A worthy adversary. Rest, recover, reclaim yourself. Then we will fight again, to the death.
Sadu Hatun!
That was the last of them. The day is ours, thanks to your timely arrival. What of the supply caravan? Outmaneuvered, but not outmatched.
I'm still in the
Good.
thing, sorry.
Let us take the
That's okay.
Imperials into custody and rejoin our comrades.
No problem. I think I just finished it.
I
And
just
soon
noticed
we
that
shall
there
arrive at
were
the capital.
instances, so I thought I would let everybody know. So we could all
Gotcha.
sync.
I don't know what. Oh.
I think it said I'm in 1, but I'm not sure yet. I'm still in cutscene.
So cold and unforgiving. Thus spoke Emperor Solus as he gazed upon his barren domain. "800 years it had been since the Garleans first set foot here. Bested by the Kavosi, after centuries of war and driven from fertile southern pastures into the blasted northern wastes. In that garden of desolation, they clung to one another for warmth, freezing, hungry, desperate, hated. The chosen forsaken. In the year 1513 of the 6th Astral Era, a young legatus named Solus single-handedly sparked the Magitech Revolution. How did he conceive the machina that feed on ceruleum? Once a common, soft-spoken soldier, how had he so quickly ascended through the ranks? Like so many others, those who knew the truth are gone. Taking in the capital with his eyes for the first time, I recall thinking to myself, far colder on the earth than in the heavens. Yes, far colder indeed, bitterly so.
Not so much as a whisper.
The roads leading beyond the city walls would have been used less in recent years. Nevertheless, this was one of the most important gateways into the capital.
A buzz day and night with activity, aye. Merchants passing through the checkpoint, many of them stopping at the local hostelries.
Surely they cannot all have been tempered.
We can consider the question after we have made camp. If we spend any longer outside, we may well freeze to death where we stand. The tempered Imperials, too.
This will be our temporary base of operations. Secure shelter for ourselves and the injured, and dispatch scouts to survey the surrounding area.
If we're planning on staying here a while, we ought to give this place a proper name.
Well, the constant sound of ice cracking underfoot makes me think of broken glass. An apt name, perhaps. But enough of this. To work, everyone!
I see that now. I just had to turn.
Ah.
I know I'm the shortest one now, but come on.
I wasn't looking your direction, that's all.
Okay, I'm looking at it. How do I set it to 3?
Right click it, and then one of the options should be change instance area or something like that.
Well, there's a travel to instance area.
That one. Do
That's
that
it.
one, and then select 3.
Yeah. I liked that thing.
Yeah, it was good.
That first was bullcrap. Made me do it 3 times. Shit.
Well, I misunderstood. Like I should have understood, but I misunderstood the quest, and I just started fighting the guards. And then I was like,
me too.
Whoopsie. But I didn't have to restart. I pulled them back around the corner away from the other stuff, and was able to kill them fast enough that it didn't go to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah, I only had to fight 2 enemies, I think. Ended up with a threat level of 26, I think.
Oh, I didn't even look at that. I didn't notice like
Yeah.
the threat level. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I just snuck around corners and put things to sleep. So.
Yeah, that's what I ended up doing. Finally, and I like fought 2 things, 2 of the stupid robot spider things.
And I love that they ended the fight by letting Sadu cast the spell that we stopped her from casting every time we had to fight her.
Uh-huh.
And then in the cutscene, Magni looking there like he's so happy, and then suddenly it kind of just runs right past him to go see Sadu. And he looks sad.
I thought that was funny too. That was great.
Also,
he's just trying to find a girlfriend.
True. But also, since Endwalker came out, I have been seeing "This is Thancred" memes, and I think this was the source of it. Of him just, "This is Thancred. I've done what I need to do. This is Thancred." In spite of the obstacles we faced, our plan proceeds apace. That rhymes, Alphanode. Stop that. Just a little farther and we will reach the capital itself. Still, we mustn't get ahead of ourselves. As soon as the camp has been made fit for purpose, we are to discuss a course of action with Lucia. Would you mind asking Ishtola and Graha to join us in that building to the northeast of camp? Alice and I will meet you there. Oh, I will say when we were starting the little instance thing, the 3rd section, and they were panning around showing each of the NPCs fighting, I was like, which one are they gonna make us do?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh, jeez, who am I gonna fight with? For
I also liked how they named this Broken Glass.
Mm-hmm. A meeting? Yes, I'll make my way over there as soon as once my head is cleared. In truth, I've been feeling out of sorts since we arrived. The air is thick with a palpable aura of malevolence. 'Tis the monstrous tower on the horizon. Jagged, hideous, unholy. Even at this distance, its presence is overwhelming. Much like the sensation I felt in the Tower of Zot, only far more terrifying. Aether flows unceasingly towards it, converging into a swirling mass of unfathomable power. For a blessing, the constant chill in the air is helping to anchor my senses in the here and now. Tell the others I shall be with you in a few moments. Like, since before the thing started, they had mentioned Ishtola was with the front. I was like, oh, well, they're gonna make us play as Ishtola. And then they focused on Estinian when he attacked the Magitech. I'm like, oh, we're gonna be playing as Estinian. But then nothing happened, and they switched over to Sadu and Magni, and also I didn't know what was going on. You'll be pleased to know that most of the Tempered have been quartered inside the nearby buildings that are receiving treatment as we speak. I do, however, feel no small amount of guilt for commandeering civilian homes. The occupants may be long gone, but everything is exactly as they left it. Considering the length of time that has clearly passed since, one would expect to find them ransacked. Strangely, there are no signs of anything having been stolen. It's possible that everyone fled at the first sign of trouble. So it seems to me they left far too many useful possessions behind. Although there is no conclusive evidence, I strongly suspect they were tempered. Sorry, I was merely thinking out loud. You mentioned a meeting. I will make my way there. Well, everybody, back in the regular part of the world, they built little towers, and they tempered everybody who got anywhere close to them. Here in Garlemald, they built a gigantic monstrosity of a tower. It probably tempered people for a much longer distance.
Yeah.
Miles and miles.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if it's powerful enough to give Ishtola headaches from this distance through the seal she's carrying, yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering. I was like, is that gonna be safe?
I mean, part of it's probably the fact that she sees ether, so she's seeing it being pulled into the tower, and it's probably disorienting her, but still. Thank you for informing the others of our meeting. When everyone is here, we will begin.
Our present situation is as follows. Efforts to aid the people of Garlemald have begun in earnest. Moreover, having entered into the capital, the Imperial Palace is within our reach.
But before we proceed further, we must learn what has befallen this city, for therein lies the key to understanding and combating the Telophoroid's designs.
I have a suggestion, if I may. Several of the Imperial soldiers we captured on the Magna Glaciers are members of the Populares and acquaintances of mine. Once we have cured them of their tempering, they should be able to give a reliable account of the events leading to the capital's downfall.
A promising idea. I will assist the healers and their ministrations. Of course, I will require a proxy of my own, assuming you can spare one.
Would you like a hand?
No, I am sure we will manage. Better that you take my place in the field. The noxious ether of this place disagrees with me, and as I shall need to draw on my own for the treatment, 'twill be prudent for me to remain within the camp.
This talk of curing the tempered is all well and good, but I reckon the cold is a more pressing concern. All the houses round here are fitted with ceruleum heaters that could keep us warm and toasty. Problem is, the machines seem to have given up the ghost, and if we keep sitting around, freezing our asses off, we'll be next. My smiths reckon that with the right parts, they can have them working again, but it won't be easy.
Understood. The machinist will assist them in the repairs.
The rest of us should either stand watch or survey the area.
We've made our presence known to the Telophroi. They will be searching for us, if they have not already ascertained our position. That we have seen no sign of them since the battle suggests they have yet to do so. However, I suspect they may be biding their time.
Or perhaps we are beneath their notice.
In any event, we'll find no answers standing around here. Urianger, Estinian and myself have visited Garlemald recently, so we'll lead the reconnaissance efforts. Perhaps bolstered by a few Bosnian and Dalmatian scouts from my previous excursion for good measure.
Don't forget about us Alamegans. We have experienced scouts of our own.
Well now, this is turning out to be a rather sizable team. With such numbers, we should be able to cover a wide area with relative ease, including that surrounding the Imperial Palace. How about you, Graha? I have a feeling we'll find a use or two for that vanishing spell of yours.
'Twould be my honor to be of service, though I doubt that you of all people need rely on my tricks.
That leaves us with guard duty.
As a matter of fact, I have something else in mind for the two of you and Alphino. Between here and the center of the capital lies the Eblin Rime. I would have you search the area for survivors. Your keen sense of direction, honed in your extensive travels, should prove useful in navigating the ice fields. This too is a vital task, and I appreciate your willingness to see it done. Rest assured that a serving of hot soup will be waiting for you. You all have your duties. Let us make haste. May the Fury bless and keep you.
I considered option 3, but I went with option 2.
I went with 3.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, she said, basically, don't be a pansy, and the promise of hot soup upon your return should give you enough enthusiasm.
With option 2, she said, this is an important task, but I am glad that you are willing to do it, and I promise there will be hot soup when you return, or something like that.
Yeah, we all probably get hot soup when we get
I did one and I didn't get hot soup.
You were too nice.
I guess.
No soup for nice people, apparently.
I guess.
Here, I got an espresso if you want. Espresso con pana.
Espresso? That's okay.
I guess Lucia is the inverse soup Nazi or something.
Yeah.
Be mean to her and then soup for you.
Yep.
Gods be good if it's this cold with Tartaru's clothing. I dread to think how we'd fare without it. I must remember to thank her when we next meet. Makes me realize, too, that while the people of Garlemald have spent their whole lives in conditions like these, even they'd be hard-pressed to survive away from the warmth of their homes. If there are any survivors, we must find them, and quickly. Which that reminds me, I should probably eat some food. Because I actually have need of XP, so... I just glanced at the quest text. As usual, Emmeline is wandering around aimlessly.
I noticed he wasn't in the meeting.
Mm-hmm. What ho, chums? Been given something to do, have you? As it happens, I too have been ordered to make myself useful. Sounds like a rather tall order. Since you ask, we're to scour the Eblin Rime for survivors. What? Wander around ice fields on the off chance you'll find someone? It'd take forever to finish the job without the benefit of my expertise, or more specifically, my telescope. Come, friends, I know just the spot to begin our search. I'll probably regret this, but we may as well humor him. Oh yeah, Aether Currents.
Oh, look at that big ram.
What is it called?
Woolly ram.
Something weird.
Obvious is what my first impression was. Obvious.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. Like, I hear it, but where is it? Oh, it's on top of that thing we couldn't possibly... Oh, we can run up the side of it.
Yeah, no problem.
I spy with my little telescope a massive sheep thing. Or maybe it's a cow. Not what we're after either way. Is that an ether current? Oh, no. Just a wind sprite. Other than that, it's all snow, snow, snow. But lo! What do I see over yon hillock? There's no mistaking it. That's a girl. A survivor. Show me. Over there, behind that tree. Looks like she's running away from something. Though, surely not us. She wouldn't even know we're here unless she had a telescope like mine. All I could tell is that she's wearing a pale green dress. A rather fetching one at that. Okay. We may not trust Emmeline for much, but I guess girl spotting should probably be one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be gone by the time we get anywhere near, but we should be able to follow her footprints. I'll let Lucia know where you're headed. Oh, and take these warming tinctures with you. Poor girl must be chilled to the bone, if not on the verge of freezing to death. That's awful. That's actually very thoughtful. Thank you. But won't you need some by yourself? Oh, no, I'll be fine. As a man of chivalry, my honor demands I do no less. And lest we forget, the very reason we are here is to protect those in need. Now go, and Godspeed. And I may have made fun of him for looking like he's cold. He is wearing chainmail.
That's what I was just gonna say. He's all chainmail. I don't see furs on any of that. It's gotta be cold.
Mm-hmm. I mean, one does wear layers under chainmail, but that can only do so much.
Yeah.
Not to mention if you turn your head and touch your face to it or something.
Stick to it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. A trail of fresh footprints lead east. Something tells me over there where Alphino Nalazay are standing.
Mm-hmm.
These footprints appear to be the same as those you saw previously, and they lead towards the building.
They cornered her.
We're getting closer, I'm sure of it. At first we thought she'd gone inside the building, but the door doesn't look like it to have been opened in some time. She might still be nearby, but we'll keep looking around here. Then again, it's also possible that she ran right past the place. Would you mind searching up ahead? Oh, and just another Final Fantasy reference. Eblan. We are in the Eblan Rhyme. The city of Eblan was the city of the ninjas in Final Fantasy IV. I don't think I expect any ninjas to show up, but maybe. The girl in the green dress anxiously surveys her surroundings. Were you to call out to her from this distance, it might attract wild beasts to your location. It would be safer to get closer first, but you must do so without drawing her attention.
So walk towards her, but look the other way.
The objective will end in failure if you are noticed. Make use of cover, such as rocks, to approach her without being seen. Similarly, the objective will also end in failure if you fall too far behind.
Whoa.
Should you fail to complete the objective, you may try again by returning to the designated location.
She just took off. I went click, click. So. She's looking at me.
Same.
Oh, don't go walk right up to her face. Damn it.
Yep, I got too close too.
I assume at a certain point it will be like, okay, now you can approach her.
I tried to get behind a tree, but didn't get there in time. She saw me before I got there.
Well, I ran up right when she was looking away from me, and I was like clicking on her to say something, and it goes, you know, you fell.
Mm-hmm.
I zigged when I should have zagged. It makes me mad.
From here, where can we hide, though? Go up over there behind a...
I'm just going to try to follow at a distance this time. She didn't seem to look back last time. She looked forward. But we'll see how that works. Yeah, that worked fine. Yeah, once she gets just past the tree, she turns around and looks back, so be hiding behind a tree. We'll probably need to hide behind this rock up here when she stops next. As she stopped to catch her breath in between the rock and the tree, and she turns around and looks back. She stops just past this tree and looks back. Who stops in the middle of this and then turns around and looks back, be hiding behind a pillar. Where did you get the dodo, Emo?
I don't remember.
Alright. In the distance, Zora, your carbuncle loads in before you do, so I was just watching your carbuncle run back and forth for no reason. Still in one piece.
Boo.
Right. I see.
Who are you? Stay back. This house is packed with explosives. Take another step and I'll blow this place sky high. Please. We just want to talk. I'm Alphinote. This is my sister Alice, and our good friend. We have no intention of hurting or taking anything from you or anyone else. I give you my word. We and our comrades have come to provide aid to the people of Garlemald. Aid? You savages are the ones responsible for all this. You did this to us. We didn't, I promise you. One of the other reasons we came was to find out what happened here. The Telophoroi are the ones to blame. They're the ones who laid waste to Garlemald. They won't stop until they've destroyed the entire world. They're the enemy. Our enemy. On our way, we encountered Imperial soldiers who had been made their thralls. Poor souls are now in our care, and we're striving to cure them of their affliction. You're the first person we've met who wasn't already enslaved. How were you able to escape the Telophoroi's influence? Are there others like you? I'm sorry, I don't mean to overwhelm you. Let's start with introductions. Can you tell me your name? My name is Licinia. As for how I've managed to stay sane, I've been asking myself the same question. Ever since that night and the roar, the terrible roar, and then the screams. I was screaming too, I think. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Then came the silence. Everything was still. It was like waking up from a nightmare. I thought that maybe the fighting had stopped, so I stepped outside. If your hells are real, I saw one that day. I ran past friends, people I'd known all my life, eyes vacant, dead, staring at the sky. Others were mad and violent. I saw them struggle with soldiers, but didn't stay to watch. I fled as far as my legs would take me. Do you have family here? Is this their home? Well, she mentioned her father as she was running here, didn't she?
Yeah.
No, this is Victor's Spoils, a mansion for retired soldiers. Or it was, but now me and a few of others are borrowing it. As for the explosives, I was making that up. I just wanted to keep everyone else safe, and I didn't know if you were... Truth is, our supplies are running low. You said you're here to help. Can you? Of course. Whatever assistance we can provide, we will. Thank you. I'd better tell the others first, though. Wait here. Send one of the twins back to get Maxima. We probably could use him right now.
Yeah.
This is everyone. Asinius says you can be trusted. But these are desperate times. We'd be fools to let foreign troops into our home. Having said that, were you to provide us with the means of heating this place, as a sign of goodwill, perhaps we could take you at your word. If that is too much to ask, then leave us be. Time to put my firewood gathering skills to use. Could you provide the spark with a little magic, Alize? Well, the fire burning in no time. May we build it under the gazebo? The what? Oh, you mean the bower. Yeah, yes, do as you will. Ah, firewood gathering. Alphinode's greatest skill.
Next to swimming.
And what was that little look she gave at the end there?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, sure.
I'm not sure if that was directed at Alphanode and Alize or one of the other Garleans. I imagine we were about to ask. I'm also interested in why she wasn't tempered.
Yeah, I was wondering.
We only know of one way to not be tempered. So.
Right.
Sorry, I'm still finding it hard to come to terms with all that's happened. Now that you're here, though, I'm hoping things might change for the better. You know, I've worked up quite a sweat from all this running about, so I'll leave space around the fire for the others. As you can tell, they're in a far worse state than me. We were planning to look for somewhere warmer or with more food, but they're not going anywhere until we nurse them back to health, which I don't know how to do. Is there anything else? Is there anything you can do to help them? Yeah, toss them over our shoulders, carry them back to Camp Broken Glass, and call it good. Let the people that know what they're doing handle it. They have a radio.
I know, I was like,
Seeing if any of them have anything to say. So far, the answer is no, really. I can treat their frostbite and their wounds, but it will take time for the fire to do its work. Now would be a good occasion to make use of Emmeline's tinctures. The ones that can warm the body from the inside out. Would you make sure everyone gets one? The numbness is beginning to subside, though I suspect once the fire dies, it will return with a vengeance. Warming tincture? I've never heard of such a thing. No harm in trying. But tell me, have you heard aught of the city? Though calling it that seems absurd after what's happened, but it's nothing but ruins now. The few buildings still standing offer no more than meager protection from wind and snow. Food production, water purification, the magitech that sustained us has come to a grinding halt. What machina that remains operational cannot be run for lack of ceruleum. Of course, Cerulean Ingus is full of this stuff, for all the good it does us. No one here knows the first thing about extraction or refinement. All is well, yes, never better. Huh? What sweet libation is this? Is it poison by any chance? 'Twas a joke, if I laughed, is that I may not weep. So said the poet, and alas, my tears would freeze on my cheeks ere they fall. We are the blessed damned, to bear witness to the fall of the great empire, while our brethren lie dead, or live on as puppets of flesh. First came the war, then came the roar. When mornings came, Garlemald was no more. In a cacophony of gunfire, explosions, and screams was our beloved capital razed to the ground. From the rubble rose the disheveled remnants, their lavish finery caked in ash as they shuffled mindlessly towards the palace, each bearing a fragment of stone or metal, an offering perhaps to the architect of our destruction. A hopeful few tried to reason with the deranged, only to be beaten for their kindness. But I knew better than to plead with the horde. I fled with my health, if not my conscience, preserved. Now I wait with my fellow cowards for our final judgment. What do you want? Huh? Tincture? May as well drink it, I suppose. This? It's a radio. You don't have them where you come from, I take it. We use them to listen to messages sent by others, even over great distances. There are different types, but this model is by far the most popular. Made with quality components crafted from the finest ore, sourced from Locus Aminus it is. Not all that useful since the capital fell into ruin. The people at the broadcasting station must have either fled or ended up like the others, because all we've been hearing is the same music being played over and over. Home beyond the horizon, an ode to the brave men and women sent to reclaim our ancestral homeland of Locus Aminus. We may have founded an empire in these frozen wastes, but we always hoped to take back what was once ours. It's a solemn reminder that though we must suffer great hardship, better days will surely come. Despite everything, I believe that Emperor Varus yet lives, and that he speaks to us through our radios. It was a cunning strategy, faking his murder. He must have foreseen this catastrophe and chosen to conceal himself, that he may one day make his triumphant return. Yes, I'm sure of it. Emperor Varus would not be defeated so easily. When I came out of that, I was like, okay, they moved the NPCs to the table during the cutscene, and then I realized it was KJ.
Deceitful little wabbit.
Wow.
What's that? This is what you gave the others. Thank you. I'll save it for later. Actually, I have a few things to ask you. Are you part of the group staying in Laterum? I saw Legatus Vergilla's troops heading towards the Magna Glacius a few days ago. Are they the ones you encountered? Camp Broken Glass, you call it. And Vergilia and her men are all there now. So how did you reach the Magna Glacius? Across the mountains on foot? Airships. There might be a way to. Licinia? Where is everyone? Is something the matter? A voice from inside, you said. You must be imagining things. Everyone's out here. Perhaps a baby Almasty has found a way into the house. It wouldn't be the first time. Without the soldiers to scare them off, wild animals have been roaming closer to the settlements. Some have been known to attack people too. I've just had an idea. If you and yours are strong enough to defeat a Legatus, then surely the few beasts shouldn't pose a threat. If you have a mind to continue helping us, perhaps you could head to the other side of the lake. A small group of tappers living there, people whose job was to extract cerulean. They still do, from what we can tell. I've already tried asking if they could share their fuel with us, but they're not willing to give it away. They want food in exchange, lots of food, and that's something we don't have and can't get on our own. On top of that, to even reach their den, we'd have to make our way past all those creatures. Would you be willing to go in our place? We only need enough cerulean to last until the others are strong enough to travel to your camp. If the offer still stands, that is. Oh, and I don't expect you to give up your own supply. But there might be another way to pay the tappers. I'm going with option 2. Oh, yes, of course. If I see any, I'll be sure to shoo them away. To reach Tapper's Den, you'll have to cross the lake. The ice is thick enough to support a person's weight, but if you'd rather not take the risk, you'll need to take the long way around. Finding the entrance can be a little tricky too, so it's easier to just look for someone standing guard outside. However, you decide to head there, please be careful. I have a gigantic, super heavy car. I will, of course, be going on the ice.
While we drive, I will be right back.
Alright.
Just look for the turn-in quest marker. No need to look for somebody on guard.
Chances are that person still on guard is going to have a quest marker over their head.
That's what I'm saying. Just find that.
Although I might head and look for this Aether Current instead.
What if it's up top of this thing?
Could be. It is.
Yep.
I think there's a way to get up on top of it back here. There might not be.
That.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
These two are pretty close to each other.
Yeah.
Probably didn't even need to mount up since apparently we are inside the quest circle right now. Who goes there? How did you find us? You're standing out in the open, dude. What do you mean I stand out like a sore thumb? If the pure bloods over at Victor's Spoil hadn't given away our location, you'd never have found us. Those stuck-up arseholes. Thought they could come waltzing in here demanding ceruleum and with nothing to offer in return. Ha! Looks like the boot's on the other foot now that the capital's gone to shite. So they resorted to sending you to negotiate. I know your game, sellsword. If they think we'll give in to intimidation, they've got another thing coming. There you are. Just after you left, Lincia asked me to go catch up with you, in case you needed a hand. Someone must have let slip that I have a little experience in transporting barrels of ceruleum. So this is Tapper's Den. Well then, after you. You didn't see the two big guys passed out in the snow over there, Alze? Who are you? What happened to the guards? Eorzeans and rebels here to save the people of Garlemald. That doesn't make any goddamn sense. Why in the hells would you pass up this chance to put those Imperial bastards to the sword? Let me guess. None of you are Garlean. You were brought here from other lands. Kirabanya, Yansha, Bajja, Dalmasca, to name a few. Some dragged here against our will, Others fed bollocks about a better life, all put to work extracting ceruleum. All given the esteemed title of Om, placing us firmly on the bottom rung of the ladder. But the old hierarchy means nothing in the new Garlemald, says we. About the only thing that's escaped more or less unscathed is Cerulia Ingus, still sustaining us even with our paymasters out of the picture. We hear you're experts on drawing up ceruleum from the bottom of the lake. But how can you do it that the lake's frozen over? Wouldn't you like to know? Trade secrets, I'm afraid. At any rate, it's not as if ceruleum is used for much these days. What with the city in ruins, we take enough to power our heaters and save the surplus for later. And though it helps stave off the cold, it does sod all for our hunger, unless we could trade it away. Speaking of which, be sure to tell your contingent we've got ceruleum by the barrel full, if they're interested. We'll exchange it for whatever provisions they're willing to spare. We could certainly ask. But if you're all free to go now, why carry on living here? Free to go? Go where? Even if we managed to get back to our homelands, there'd be nothing left for us thanks to the Empire. And the knowledge and skills we've acquired working here would be practically useless outside Garlemald. So we're staying for the time being, as long as there's need for ceruleum. We'll find a way to get by, even if Garlemald as we knew it is gone for good. Gone for good. Regardless of what the Isilbar contingent does for the people of Garlemald, the Empire itself is already a thing of the past. For many, that would be a cause for celebration, while for others, their whole way of life will have been turned upside down. After all the atrocities committed in the Empire's name, perhaps it's for the best that it is consigned to history. But what of the ordinary people? Their lives, their stories, should they be forgotten too? Suppose there'll be plenty of time to ponder that later. For now, let's see about getting some ceruleum. It's kind of a shame that we're getting to see Garlemald for the first time after it's been destroyed. Probably would have been pretty cool to see when it was still a steampunk masterpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've come seeking ceruleum, have you? What, those purebloods up at Victor's Spoil sent you? To turn to their enemies for help, they must be more desperate than I thought. Then again, Licinia's got her little sister to think about. A sister? But we only saw Licinia in 3 men. Possible she died from whatever was ailing her, if she needs treatment. Or if she needs treatment, I doubt there'd be any way to get it out here. I may have refused Licinia at first, thinking she'd come back with something to exchange, but I could spare them a bottle's worth of ceruleum. Consider it a reward for introducing me to the rest of your contingent. Be sure to send them our way, you hear? Can't for the life of me think why Licinia would keep her sister a secret from her. But we can ask about that after we've delivered the ceruleum. Come on, let's hurry back. Yeah, I was actually working under the assumption that it was her father that was in there, and her father might have been Nerva, Xenos' uncle. But if it's her sister, I don't know what's going on. This isn't right. Too quiet. I would have thought Alpha Node would be treating them by the fire, but they're nowhere to be seen. I'll look inside the house while you search outside. They can't have gone far. I feel like it would have actually let me jump off that ledge. I'm glad I didn't try.
Right.
Looks like Zora found it over here. They asked me to help carry supplies. When I followed them back here, they attacked me. Caught me off guard. Forced me to defend myself. I fear they fared rather worse than me. You can't fool us. We know. We know what you're about. Vultures. That's what you are. Waiting in the wings for us to show weakness. Then in you swoop. Here to help. What rot. All a ploy to make us lower our guard. Let you in. Put ourselves at your mercy. Put us in chains. Steal our lands. Get your revenge. You're wrong. That's not what any of us want. Save the arguments for later. We've got bigger problems. I found empty medicine bottles in a bed that was still warm. It's true, Lincinia was hiding her sick sister inside the house. But now there's no sign of either of them. Where are they? Where did they go? Away from you and yours. If you think I'll tell you, you're a fool. I'd never give up my people. We're trying to help them, you idiot. Her sister's ill. The empty bottles prove it. So the medicine ran out, or she put it in her pockets to make it easier to carry. Or to avoid the sound of clinking glass. There are beasts everywhere. How could you let them go alone? To protect them from you. You invade our homeland. Paint it with the same sorcery used to slay our countrymen. A Garlean should die for the a Garlean should sooner die than suffer the insult. Better for them to flee, keep their purity intact, than be corrupted by your vile magics. We were waiting for a chance to free them, since the moment you arrived. This is getting us nowhere. I cannot say how Lincinia and her sister will react when we find them, but find them we must. Go on without me, both of you. I first need to tend to my injuries and theirs. I will join you in search after. All right. Be careful. We'll do our best to find them quickly. There's only one path out of here. So that's where they are. That's where we'll start. Two sets of fresh footprints. Young women, judging by the size. This is definitely them. Come on. The trail stops at the frozen lake. Perhaps they chose this route so as not to leave footprints? Can't think of any other reason. Look at this place. It's crawling with beasts. And I can only imagine how hard it must be for her ailing sister to cross the ice. We could really do with Alphinode's help, but we can't afford to wait for him. Let's split up and look for clues. Emo and I are heading towards something sparkly. The empty bottle smells faintly of alcohol. The thin coating of dirt indicates it has been here for some time and is unlikely to have any connection to Licinia or her sister. It was a shiny that lies. I think I see something shiny down here. But it could be a mob. It looks like it's moving. It's probably a sprite or something. Yeah, it's a sprite. I got something over here. Something not good, I might add. The blood stain in the snow appears to be fresh. Judging by the amount, the victim may have been severely wounded. The trail of blood leads southeast.
I was like, oh, there's a person shape over there, but it's somebody doing mining or...
The two bodies are already cold.
Blood trail. We found one. They were attacked. No. Why? Why wouldn't they?
Safer to brave the wilds than trust in our magic. We should have... I should have... We can't leave them like this. We have to take them home.
What if we're only making it worse?
Maybe we don't belong here, but neither do they. Not out here in the wind and the cold. I heard the story about Varus's voice from beyond the grave. Of course, I didn't believe it, but Licinia and her sister did. Perhaps there is something to the tale after all. I want to understand. So I'm going to borrow this for a while, if that's all right. You had every reason not to trust us. We came as trespassers, invaders. But I pray that in time, we will be more than that to you. That we will find a way to help your loved ones. And see that no more children are left to freeze alone in the snow.
Well, I'm surprised they introduced a character with a unique model like hers only to kill her that quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There must have been something we could have done. But what? Could we have never come here? Would they still believe if we hadn't? Still be alive if we hadn't?
We might see him later as an Asian.
Perhaps. Although we kill them pretty quickly these days.
Yeah.
We've already caused enough harm here. Let us return to camp before we cause any more. As for those inside the house, we should send someone to take care of them. Someone who isn't us. All we can do for now is making our report to Lucia. And do everything in our power to prevent further tragedy. So let us linger here no more. Actually, no, there's a aether current on the way over there. Not sure how we missed it on the way over here, but...
Well, this one's is like 531 west. So it could be just straight west and part of that territory we didn't hit. Still covered.
True. The aether currents have been kind of densely packed around here.
I lost the server connection.
Ah, yep, I see the marker on you. I will attempt to not dismount, so we can still carry you around with us.
Okay.
Oh, no, they just dumped you out of the car.
Rude.
So we'll wait for you here.
And your voice is acting
Oh, I
weird.
just lost connection too.
I'll be back.
Okay.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
I'm here.
Yay.
Cars! Oh my gosh, that's funny.
I didn't even notice. I guess it makes sense. We are in the high technology area. Did I mention the aether currents are densely packed?
Yeah.
Automated death machine. That's a lovely name. Actually reminds me of the Civilization 6 series I did on YouTube. One of the final series of technologies are to build a gigantic war robot. And I was like, oh, that's cool. What are they going to call this thing? And they just called it the Giant Death Robot. Alright, there's more not far into the city, but I imagine the quests will send us this way soon, so... Oh yeah, there are a lot more to find on the maps in this X-Pack than there were in the last one. In Shadowbringers, there were 4 to find on every map. In this one, there appear to be 10 to find on every map, plus the 5 that come from other sources, i.e. quests.
Wow.
Yeah, that's more aether currents than zones have had ever.
Is Titrium the mining place?
No, no, we haven't gone up there yet. I think part of it's part of it's listed as explored now because we entered the city itself.
Oh.
Alizé and Alpha Node tell me they have finished their preliminary search for survivors, but refrain from saying much more than that. Clearly they are reluctant to provide details. Might I ask for your account?
Thank you for your report. We shall inform the troops of these developments and instruct them to proceed with the utmost caution should they encounter any survivors.
Allow me to go and speak with the ones at the victor's spoils. They may be more willing to listen to a fellow Garlean and accept our offer of assistance.
I pray you are right. And though I am loath to burden you any further, should there be an appropriate occasion to speak of Licinia and her sister, please do so.
I am sorry to have put you through this.
My distress is nothing compared to their suffering. So tell me, what else have we learned?
As you may have already heard, we have succeeded in curing the members of the Populares, Maxima identified. They have provided us with some intriguing insights into the current state of Garlemald. The assassination of Emperor Varus was the catalyst for the civil war. Nerva declared his claim to the throne, and his opponents refused to recognize it. Fighting broke out in the capital, where Nerva's Third Legion clashed with the First, who remained loyal to Varus even after his death.
Of course, even Imperial warmongers would balk at the idea of turning their shining city into a battleground. Like burning down the wood to spite the wasps. Neither side would be so mad.
Depends on how many wasps.
Unless something or someone inflamed their animosity to such an extent that they could not help but act against their better judgment.
It brings to mind events at the Gimlet Dark, does it not? The Emperor's sudden withdrawal from the front lines, specifically. Nerva and his father, Titus, Varus's then political rival, took advantage of rumors that Crown Prince Xenos had been possessed by a demon.
Elidibus, what better way to disparage your enemies than with the truth, or a close enough approximation?
Indeed. But before their accusations could be substantiated, many of Titus's followers were silenced. While some were merely stripped of their status, others died under curious circumstances. One after another, suddenly and suspiciously.
Again, Elidibus. Like as not, he had a hand in it. No evidence was found to implicate Varus, certainly. Nevertheless, Titus, Nerva, and the Third Legion would have judged it a brazen attempt by the Emperor to rid himself of his political enemies. And then, in the midst of this growing turmoil, Varus Sosgalvis is murdered. And Garlemald's own prodigal son, Gaius van Belsar, is named the murderer. Shortly thereafter, Nerva claims the right of succession, and in response, the First Legion claims the assassination was part of a coup d'etat orchestrated by Titus and Nerva.
So no one is at fault, and everyone else is to blame.
I should add that both parties received substantial financial backing, presumably to provide them with the means and encouragement to pursue a swift victory, and that these contributions came from the self-same benefactor.
I'd heard House Brutus had been filling the Third Legion's coffers, but the First as well.
It would seem so. Though the Populares determined that the First Legion received funds from a variety of organizations, all had connections to House Brutus.
So Fandaniel, in the guise of Asahi, was playing both sides against each other the entire time.
The information we gained from my friends does not end there. One night, shortly after fighting broke out, the capital was shaken by an immense tremor. From that point onward, they have no memories, no recollection of any events, including our clash on the Magna Glaciers. But when asked about the Imperial Palace and its bizarre transformation, they somehow recall Emperor Varys giving them orders in their dreams. May the Tower of Babel stand as testament to the glory of Garlemald.
This sounds awfully familiar.
We have something to show you all.
Varys spoke to them through this radio. Perhaps it was a recording, but if not, that would be inexplicable.
We are of one mind, then.
The ether that permeates the ore used in this device is almost identical to that of the talismans.
I see it. While it is likely more by coincidence than design, these devices might also ward against a primal's influence. A picture is beginning to form. If the tremor felt throughout Garlemald was a wave of ether emitted by a primal, then while those within range would have been tempered, those huddled around a radio desperate for news concerning the Civil War would have been spared.
No wonder Licinia kept it close.
My friends, I must speak with you. A young man was caught trying to steal our supplies. He is a soldier of the Iron Men, we think, but one who has not been made thrall. Thankfully, Magni restrained him before blood was spilled. The stranger is outside, if you wish to ask him questions.
I think we do.
Who do we have here?
Garleans? Traitors to your homeland! Have you no shame?
I am Lucia Junius, a Temple Knight of Ishgard. And you are?
Iulus Pier Norbanus. And that's all you invaders will get from me.
We are not here to invade Garlemald. Far from it. Like you, our allies in Eorzea and the Far East fight in defense of their lives and their loved ones even as we speak. But it is the people of Garlemald who have suffered most. This we know. And that is why we have come to offer you our aid, that we may unite against our common foe. Whether you believe me or not, those are the facts. Now, answer me this. Why would a proud soldier of the Empire be reduced to stealing? The situation must be dire indeed for you to go to such lengths. If it is supplies you seek, we would gladly share ours, or turn a blind eye while you leave with your spoils.
I will not negotiate. My commander will determine how to deal with you and yours. If you wish to treat with him, I will take you, but no more than 3.
I don't much like the sound of that. But if we do accept his proposal, I suggest the 2 of us and...
Please allow me and Alize to act as envoys.
May I ask why?
We have seen with our own eyes the hardships the Garleans face, how their futures and lives hang in the balance.
It's not the warmest invitation, but it's an opportunity to prove our intentions true. Maybe not a chance to make things right, but a chance to make them better.
I can see that persuading you otherwise is a lost cause, but you will proceed with the utmost care.
A couple of children and what? A sellsword? Is this an insult?
Not in the least. You will find that they are more than qualified to speak on our behalf.
There are many dangers on the road ahead. I will need that back.
Need to AFK for a minute. I'll be right back. And I am back.
Welcome back.
What did y'all say to the twins, by the way?
I'm going with you.
What would your mother say if I let you go without me?
Yeah, I went with that one too. They didn't have much to say in response to it, though. So.
No.
You will be received as invited guests, and so I urge you to observe proper social etiquette and conduct yourselves accordingly. Your safe return takes precedence above all else. Remember this. Thancred in particular will be worried sick if you're gone too long. May the Fury watch over and keep you. Now, was that a hint that Thancred will be following us?
I don't know. Like, it was very supposed to be of note.
Yeah, it was italicized.
Uh-huh.
Are you and the children ready? I will explain the route once we're outside the camp. If anyone attempts to follow us, we will judge it an act of hostility. We will not hesitate to take appropriate measures. I would expect nothing less. You have our full cooperation. Alright, this is far enough. Listen carefully. We head over that hill, then follow the road until we reach Liminal Station 4. Children in the lead. I want you where I can see you. We do have names, you know. I am Alizé, he is Alpha Node. And last but not least... Where have I heard that before? No matter. Alpha Node and Alizé will watch the road ahead while we bring up the rear. I wasn't lying about there being many dangers, so you're to run, not saunter. Run towards the station. If you even think about going for your weapon, the deal's off. Should any creatures bar the way, we go around them. Once you choose to depart, Julius will accompany you. Alpha Node and Alizé will then begin moving towards the destination. Make your way to Liminal Station 4 without falling behind. If you leave Julius behind for any reason, or lose sight of Alpha Node and Alizé, you may try again by returning to the starting point. Ready to make a dash for the station? Even without Peloton, I run faster than them.
Yeah.
It makes sense. My legs are as long as they are tall, but still.
I'm wondering if they'll pick up speed in a minute.
They might.
And when we were in the city with a person following us, I'd throw that on it and actually go on them too.
This is it. The first stop, that is. Good. Looks like your friends knew better than to follow us. Are these your headquarters? No, Alpha, no, they're not. No, we're stopping here so I can check for pursuers. As it appears you've kept your side of the bargain, we can carry on. North of the station is Regio Domorum, one of the main residential areas. Or at least it was. The afflicted roam the streets in packs. They'll tear us to shreds if given the chance. Keep close, no wandering off, understood? From here, we'll be heading northeast, keeping to the left of the railway. While the route itself is straightforward, getting past the hordes unseen is anything but. Keep your weapons at the ready. They would attack their own countrymen? Aye, they spare their own, but slaughter the rest without hesitation. Though we'll try to avoid detection, the chances of sneaking by completely unnoticed are slim at best. I will lead the way, but in the event we are seen, you're to fight them off. Those two will follow us, provided they can refrain from drawing their weapons. While I doubt they would be foolish enough to stab their guide in the back, I will not take that chance. With that said, let us proceed. I see why your comrades chose you. Julius, our contingent has a cure for the afflicted, or tempered, as we call them. Your people would need to your people would need to be taken into custody, that we may administer the treatment. But they would eventually regain their sanity. Is that so? For all I know, your treatment would simply force them to forsake one master for another. As far as I and my legion are concerned, they are no longer our people. They're beyond saving. Those who thought differently and tried to reason with them were butchered for their bleeding hearts. Come, we have to keep moving. Are y'all gonna bump into every zombie on the way? Looks like we're not being followed. We will continue onward. Are we about to run into Regulus again? Because he's about the only living legatus we actually know. I mean what I said. These people deserve only death. I stayed my hand before only out of a desire to remain undiscovered. That is still the higher priority. We should continue to avoid any unnecessary confrontations. Keep following the railway. That's not on the railway, Julius.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Well, something's been done to these ones. Look at what they have become. Would you still stand there and claim that they could be cured? Those? Probably not. I don't think we can cure those.
Mm-mm.
Those exposed to a vast quantity of a primal's ether may suffer severe corruption. Even with treatment, such victims are beyond salvation. Then you admit it. Now that you have seen these monstrosities for yourself, perhaps you will think twice before speaking of a cure. We're almost there. You've kept your side of the agreement, so I will keep mine. This way. This is Tertium, one of Garlemald's largest stations. It now serves as our headquarters. I've already sent the twins ahead. I will be with you soon, so wait for me at the bottom of the stairs.
Ambush?
No. He clearly has no intention to speak to you. But I do wonder who his commander is going to be. I'm still going to go with my monies on Regulus. Assuming, of course, that we haven't killed him in some other sequence that I don't know about yet. But the fact that we defeated him and didn't kill him twice already makes me think they're not going to kill him off. Plain to see why they chose this as their base of operations. They could have done a lot worse. Even so, I imagine it's not the easiest place to live. Indeed, if Julius was willing to make the perilous journey to Camp Broken Glass in search of food, their only supplies must be all but exhausted. They may be shielded from the wind and snow, but it's still bitterly cold, much like Victor's spoils. It must be a constant struggle to keep their people warm. Lower your voices. While you may be here as my guests, the others will not take kindly to your presence. My commander is in the locomotive, over there. Lookout point. We can't attune it yet.
These are their chosen representatives.
Very well. Let us hear what they have to say.
Yes, sir. I present to you our commander, Lord Quintus Vankina, Legatus of the First Legion.
The first? I had no idea you had survived.
We lost our emperor, our city, more than half our troops. For my wounds, I may never take the field again. But we survived, aye. In a manner much to your liking, I dare say.
We have no intention of adding to your misfortunes, nor do we bear you any ill will.
Spare me. Though you children may speak in earnest, overtures of peace ever ring hollow in my ears. So long as man stands to profit from his neighbor's suffering, war is inevitable. Driven from our ancestral homeland into this blasted waste. Yet still you yearned to rob us of our paltry scraps. 'Twas only with Magitech that you learned to keep your distance. Though we knew it was only a matter of time before you regrouped and returned. Conquest and Empire were our only defenses. Emperors Solus and Varys understood this, and through their campaigns saw us grow and prosper. Much blood has been spilled in Garlemald's name, aye. But if it is a choice between yours and mine, then it is hardly a choice at all.
I do not deny that a great many conflicts throughout history were driven by the desire or necessity to gain by another's loss. That is not why we are here. Nor have we come to petition your aid in the war with the Telophoroi, grave though that threat may be. Our purpose is simply this. We wish to help you. Let us help you. If there is aught that can be done to ease your plight, we would be glad to do it.
Perhaps you would. But regardless of the ideals you espouse, your leaders would not send an army into Garlemald if they did not stand to benefit. If we accept their aid, they will expect their efforts to be rewarded once the Telophoroi are no longer a threat. And after compensation and concessions, the great empire would be brought to heel. Her enemies rejoice at her downfall. Our third eye, a mark of shame.
We won't stand idly by and let your people be humiliated. And we're not alone in that. We only want to make a difference, to make this world of ours better. Surely you can understand that. What I'm trying to say is, there are so many people who just don't care about making you suffer. And maybe that's almost insulting after all the suffering you feel the world has subjected your people to, but believe it or not, that's the truth. And now we're here, and all we're asking is for you to tell us what you want, what you hope for.
So much blood has been shed, so much lost. All because of this endless war. Who wouldn't want to end it? Can we not work together to face our problems as one?
Answer me this, young peacemakers. If a world without conflict is your desire, why reject the unity and prosperity of Garlemald? Is it because we do not share your faith? That we do not share your heritage? That our ideals and virtues differ? That we cherish and hold in the highest that which you do not? Disparity is the root of discord, and peace built on compromise is flawed and fleeting. Happiness for one and all is a dream, and the reality is that to the victor go the spoils. That is why we Garleans will never submit nor surrender. For freedom and for pride, we will remain true to ourselves until the bitter end. That is my hope. It seems there is nothing more to say on the matter. You will remain here while I decide what is to be done with you. Do not be alarmed. No harm will come to you, if you cooperate.
We will not resist. However, as your guests, I ask that we be allowed to speak with the other members of your group.
As you wish. I had no intention of locking you up, as by dawn you would be frozen stiff and you're no good to me dead. You are free to move about the encampment, but there is one condition. Collar them.
What are these?
Incentive. You'll be watched at all times. Stray too far or act suspiciously, and we will administer a rather painful shock. Stop. Keep away from that one. The champion of Eorzea is not so easily cowed. Even if he allowed himself to be collared, the shock would be no more than an itch. No. If he refuses to obey, we will activate the twins' restraints instead.
You needn't worry about us.
We'll forget we're even wearing them soon enough.
Even now, you still... Why go to such lengths? What is it all for? You are a curious one. A far cry from the merciless barbarian others paint you to be. You will be their warden. Take them away.
Yes, sir.
I think we may have been better served sending Ishtola instead of Alphinaud.
Mm-hmm.
Idealism doesn't speak very well to soldiers. And Ishtola would have told him straight up, we're here to kill the Talafrai. The Empire's already dead. We don't really care about what happens to you from this point.
Yeah, take our help, or we'll just keep doing what we're gonna do, and you can survive or not.
Yep. As per Lord Quintus's instructions, I am to supervise you during your time here in Tertium. Before you ask, no, I don't have a key or any means to remove your collars. Not that I would tell you if I did, and if you try anything, you'll soon wish you hadn't. So, do you truly intend to speak with the others, or was that merely a ruse? We're in no hurry to disobey Lord Quintus, if that's what you mean. Or perhaps you doubt the wisdom of his decision. Do as you will, but remember, I'll be watching. If I catch wind of you doing anything untoward, trying to trick our people into turning their coats and the like, those shock collars will be the least of your worries. You understand? Though we're somewhat compromised, to put it lightly, let's not waste this opportunity. I suggest splitting up and learning what we can of their situation. And above all else, don't use magics of any sort. You, on the other hand, may go wheresoever you wish, even outside the camp. I know full well I couldn't stop you if I tried. But do not forget, if you do anything to endanger us or our interests, Alpha No Nalize will pay the price. Still can't attune this.
So if I teleport us back to Oldot, does that mean that they'd be hurt?
You came here with Julius, didn't you? Well, whatever business brought you here, you'd best keep your hands off that aetherite. It's deactivated, but I'd rather you didn't mess about with it. There are others throughout the city, built by Garleans. 4 Garleans. Could teleport all over in the blink of an eye, provided there was a terminal nearby. These days, however, we use the aetherite's power to keep the place lit. Though, that comes at the cost of its normal function. Ah, that's why we can't attune it.
I wondered why there was, like, the power cords coming out from it.
Mm-hmm. It's you! I served under Lord Gaius in the 14th Legion. I was there on the night the Praetorium fell. You and your adventurers, you killed them. My comrades, my friends, swept them aside in their dozens, as though they were nothing to you. Maybe I am too. Just another faceless enemy to be cut down. But it won't be long until our countrymen return. Until you get what you deserve. Mark my words. They think reinforcements are coming. They're not. It's so cold. This young soldier appears to be on the verge of losing consciousness. I know who you are. The so-called champion of Eorzea. Come to gloat, have you? I'll wipe that smirk off your face. By the blood of our fallen compatriots, I swear I'll... Damn, doors of sutures. All the times. The worst of the lot within striking distance, and I can't even muster the strength. Work for the 3rd bleeding us. We'd be the end of you. Regalia's treachery nearly cost Lord Quintus his life, but we made our escape. Took shelter in a mansion, tended to the wounded, and prepared to strike back, and then night fell and we gathered around the radio. Then the roar, the terrible roar. The capital was in chaos, but we were spared. If you can call this a mercy, mind intact, body broken, a soldier in name alone, I'd cut you down where you stand if I could, murderer. The radio is the same model as the one that Victor spoils. Perhaps it is what saved the soldiers from being tempered. You learn anything of note? Your findings are consistent with my own. Their plight is desperate indeed. The sick and injured are at the greatest risk. Without warmth and proper nutrition, I fear they'll soon perish. I realize there's precious little we can do for them at present, but I cannot bear to see them suffer. Please, will you help me tend to them? Don't use magic, Alpha Node. Who's there? Eyes. I can't see all that well. Thank you. The numbness has subsided a little. But I know I won't last much longer. You should look to the others who can still fight. Give them my ration. If me going hungry means someone else lives to see another day, so be it. At least I can still serve in that way. So those who we met fared no better. I'm afraid you would say that. I know we were warned against meddling in their affairs, but we can't leave them like this. Perhaps we might gain permission to have the contingent deliver supplies. Quintus may have made his feelings on the matter quite clear, but even he must recognize they are not in a position to refuse help. Maybe Julius could persuade him? Though we'd need to persuade Julius first. Well, seen enough. Julius, the people here have barely enough food and fuel to survive. Have you and the other soldiers been able to procure any more supplies? We've been scavenging provisions from the nearby houses, as most families kept some stored away in the event they were snowed in. Still, going out and getting it is dangerous work. And we've a lot of mouths to feed. Fuel is the greater concern, though. We had some ceruleum set aside till it was stolen. We haven't identified the culprit. Could have been other refugees or one of the afflicted, for all we know. Either way, we're down to the last dregs. Without the heating they need, those in poor health are going to get worse instead of better. If it's ceruleum you need, our contingent has secured a ready supply. We can have some sent over. We will not accept your charity. If we can hold on a little longer, the situation is sure to change. Aye, everything will change. I'm going with option 1. Heard something of it, have you? No? From what I've seen, there's little you could do to interfere. There's no harm in telling you. One of our scouts spotted a hooded man issuing instructions to the afflicted, or in the bastard's words, loyal servants of the Telafari. Then he made his way into the Imperial Palace, or what stands in its place. We'd identified the seat of the enemy's power. We realized Lord Quintus dispatched a messenger to the 10th Legion, saying as much, and instructed them to join forces with the provincial legions to prepare for a combined assault on the Telafari. Once our allies arrive, their contingent will be sent running for the hills. Then we shall reclaim the capital by our own hand. How do you intend to survive in the meantime? At this rate, many of your countrymen will perish long before reinforcements reach Garlemald. They need help now. Say the word and we will bring you ceruleum. I will speak with Lord Quintus. So, did he agree to it? No, he will not place Garlemald in the debt to her enemies. I have, however, been ordered to search for Ceruleum outside. As you are under my watch, you will come with me. Very well. After all, many hands make light work. You lot are more trouble than you. Once we are outside, you will follow my instructions to the letter. We depart shortly.
Rats?
Thank you.
Rats.
Just 10,500,000 XP to go.
Only.
Only.
We will begin our search for Ceruleum in Regio Urbanisma. The first location is Forum Soleus, a park to the northwest of the station. You are to remain close at all times and act only as ordered. Follow me.
Why does that music just remind me of like old time Russia?
It does
Old
me as
World
well.
War movie.
Yeah.
I believe because it's supposed to.
Yeah, that's actually what I was thinking. I was
Yeah.
trying to come up with what it was, but yeah,
This-
that's exactly.
There's a lot of Soviet symbology going on around here.
Well, even Eastern Bloc.
Mm-hmm. But the first thing I thought of when I saw that he was in the train car was the armored train from GoldenEye.
Yeah.
I hear an aether current. It is up on the upper level. So this is the park. Surprised they found space for one amongst all these buildings. Actually, the recreational areas come first. The houses were later built around them. A healthy society requires communal spaces for children to play and adults to socialize. This park was named after the founding father of the empire, the great Solus Zelscalvus. Did we come to extract Ceruleum from the wrecked Magitech armor? No, we've already drained it dry. Same goes for the rest of the Machina in the vicinity. But as our Ceruleum has been stolen, we must scour the city for every last drop. And while I don't expect to find anything here, I've decided to try one more time in case something has been overlooked. I see. And with your permission, we will commence the search. Cursory inspection of the wrecked Magitech armor confirms that the fuel canisters have long since been drained of Ceruleum, as Julius said.
Well, there's another spot, and then there's a lookout point.
Ah. Crapshit is built in a style of Imperial war machina, armed with a battery of weapons and capable of transforming into different configurations. But on closer inspection, it appears to be no more than a children's slide. I see another spot. Who picked a fight?
Me.
Oh, it seems to be running away. It knew better than to mess with us.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the general down below. Though rather small by Garlean standards, the structure is reminiscent of a merchant's stall. Perhaps it was built for children to play at shopkeeper. There's nothing inside resembling Magitech or any other devices that should be fueled by Ceruleum.
Found another spot.
Alright, where are you? Up here, up top?
No,
Yeah.
not this one, the other one.
Oh.
Where we found that other thing.
Ah.
Before we got the quest, yeah.
Several points of interest are marked on the map of Forum Solius. The pond, children's play areas. To your knowledge, however, none would require the use of Ceruleum. You don't appear to be looking very hard, Julius.
I think he's just reminiscent of his childhood.
Could be. Oh, it's you. Any luck? There's no sign of any Ceruleum. Hardly surprising, but disappointing nonetheless. Couldn't help notice you gazing at the pond. Is something the matter? How's the pond not frozen? That's a good question. What? Yeah, I mean, no, I used to bring my brother and sister here to play. The pond was heated to stop it from freezing over. So, like all the other children, they were able to wade in and splash about. Would have stayed there if I didn't drag them out. We'd be sopping wet and when all was said and done, every time. And every time when we get home, Mother would scold us, saying we'd catch our death walking around like that. The pond was heated. With a Ceruleum-powered heater, by chance. Suppose it must have been. Come to think of it, I remember seeing engineers changing out the tank beneath the hatch. But that was a long time ago, when the water still flowed clear and wasn't this brackish muck. Can't see a thing. and I can't remember where the hatch might be. With the machinery most likely broken, the amount of filth in there is probably the only reason that hasn't frozen over. I'd wager it's still unbearably cold, though. Julius, what are your thoughts on magic? The average Guardian would jump out of their skin if they saw it. But the first has a few foreigns, signiferi and medici, so it doesn't scare me. Then I take it you won't mind if I employ a little knack. Alpha Node, as you have a knack for finding dry wood, why don't you bring me some? Once that's done, a blast of verifiers should do the trick. Leave it to me. Not planning to go in there, are you? Of course I am. The tank isn't going to fetch itself. Nothing so involved as extracting unprocessed ceruleum from a frozen lake like how the tappers do it. We're talking about a shallow pond in a park. And we have a way of warming ourselves after it. But that's insane. So, fancy a dip? Oh, I wish, what's his name? The old samurai. If he was here, I would definitely go with option 3. But I'm going with option 1. Last one to find a ceruleum tank is a rotten egg. Though I dare say we'll both smell like rotten eggs from this. You delve into the murky water but come up empty-handed. To add injury to insult, the icy wind on your damp clothing chills you to the bone. Same thing. Beneath the water, your fingers catch on what you think might be a handle. You open the hatch and retrieve a ceruleum tank.
Fits in the palm of your hand.
However, your grand discovery comes at great personal cost, as you become acutely aware of the freezing cold and a rancid odor emanating from every ilm of your body. Julius will doubtless feel compelled to pinch his nose shut when you deliver to him your prize. Well, I can't imagine he and his men smell much better. It's not like they could bathe in these temperatures. You find anything? I hope you did. That's it. And there's still some ceruleum left. The fire's still not ready. Hold on, I'll give Alpha Node a hand. Call me an old Don, because by fire I am reborn. And my clothes are mostly dried out. I appreciate you recovering the ceruleum, but I wish you'd taken the time to discuss the plan with me beforehand. Despite the way you've been treated, in Lord Quintus's eyes, you're still envoys deserving of protection. If you were to die on my watch, he would be most displeased. Your concern is duly noted, but all's well that ends well. Julius, you mentioned coming here with your younger siblings. You grew up in Garlemald? I did, not far from here. My father was an accomplished researcher in his youth, and for his contributions to the Empire awarded an estate. We lived well, better than many. What was Garlemald like in those days? Everything. It was everything you could imagine, and so much more. Even during the coldest winters, we always found warmth and comfort at home. Coming in from the snow, taking off your coat and sitting down for a hot meal with family, visiting friends and relatives, receiving the same welcome, knowing they had everything they needed. Walking down the street, seeing the lights in all the houses, hearing the faint sounds of laughter and song, of happiness. And although the summers came and went all too quickly, in that brief respite the ice would melt and the forgotten grass make its triumphant return. Gray clouds gave way to blue skies. Some mornings we'd climb up to the top of the tallest building so we could watch the sunrise. Never again. Those rooftops are rubble. Those friends dead. Those memories. But if I could reclaim even a fraction of what we once had. Soon, our chance will come. Just need to hold on a little bit. Alright, now that you've recovered from your escapades in the pond, there's another location I'd like to search. Just outside the park. As you can see, this place is littered with the remnants of various types of war machina. While my comrades and I have already recovered the tanks from the less damaged units, those that took more of a severe beating are harder to scavenge. We decided to save those for another time. That time being now. Rather than prise them apart piece by piece, it would be quicker to remove the outer casing using compact explosives. With luck, we'll gain access to the tanks without rupturing. Though the force generated by these devices is relatively weak, I would advise you to stand well clear to avoid getting hit by any shrapnel. Before even bothering, though, you should check the Machina's ceruleum gauge to see if there's any left. If it should still provide an accurate reading even if the unit itself is inactive. If the gauge is broken, I'll let you decide whether to use an explosive or not. If you need more, come to me. Understood. Let's get to work. According to the ceruleum gauge, the unit's tank is empty. The ceruleum gauge on this unit appears to have been broken, giving no way to determine how much fuel the tank may hold. I'll come back to you if I don't find anything anywhere else. The ceruleum gauge in this unit appears to have been broken. Okay. Are they all going to be broken, except the ones that are empty? Another broken one.
Why do I always get the broken one?
Indeed. This one's empty. I have no fire. I have no matches. I quit smoking. Father, do you smoke? Alright, I didn't see any that said anything other than empty, so ones that are broken get blown up, I guess. After successfully removing the War Mechanic's outer casing and retrieving the ceruleum tank, you find it to be completely empty.
Ah, crappers.
Completely empty. And gotta go back and pick up more bombs. How about you? Do you have ceruleum? Can I have it?
You fighting a live one?
It attacked as Emo and I ran past. I'm gonna head over here and blow up some of these, I guess.
Oh, this one had a little. The one that Zora's at. Or was. But I'm out of bombs again. I just started bombing everything. Oh, he's gonna be pleased.
This one's still half full, or half empty, depending on your perspective. Either way, Julius will surely be pleased. More explosives? Wait, is that what I think it is? Oh, you've done it again. Truly, luck is on your side. With this, we should be able to refuel quite a few of our heaters. Now we're heading back. Wait here while I go see how Alizé and Alphinaud are faring.
Are we going to see Thancred at this point?
Possibly. Yeah, I suspect they're going to be attacked by something. Or, well, maybe not.
There's a little whisper in your ear.
Finally escape the watchful gaze of your keepers.
Oh, it is Thancred.
Don't react. You'll only draw attention to yourself. Just carry on as you are and listen. After you left with the Garlean lad, Lucia bade a few of us scouts follow you at a discreet distance. We observed you being led into the station, but decided against venturing inside. When you emerged sometime later, and we saw that the twins were sporting Magitech collars, it was clear what had taken place. Now, as quietly as you can, tell me everything. The Legatus himself, eh? Now there's a surprise. This is also the first I've heard of a plan to join forces with the 10th and storm the Tower of Babel. An interesting development, and perhaps the opportunity we've been waiting for. Our comrades back at the camp also received some rather promising news, but it's still too early to get our hopes up. For now, keeping yourselves out of harm's way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Garleans make, indulge them. With luck, this will all be over soon. Until then.
They had not gone far.
We searched high and low, but no luck, I'm afraid. I might have guessed you'd be the only one to find anything.
I wasn't expecting much to begin with. Eventually, there will be nothing left out here for us to safely salvage. For now, this will have to suffice. We should return to the station.
Ah, there you are. Heard you'd gone hunting for ceruleum above ground. Brought back a king's ransom?
Hardly. But thanks to these three, we have enough to last a little while longer.
Well, well. It's not at all as I was expecting, these ones. For savages, they seem positively docile. It's a poor attempt at humor. In all honesty, I'm grateful for your efforts. But even with another night of warmth, there are those among us who may not live to see the morrow.
I trust your expedition was fruitful.
Lord Quintus!
Use what you procured to refuel the armor.
But, sir, what about the heaters for the camp?
The time for action is upon us. My men and I have matters to discuss. In the meantime, you are to wait here. Do not forget, you are being watched.
The time for action. What did he mean by that?
I can only speculate. Clearly something requiring their magitech, given what we just heard. Whether they plan to utilize it now, or after they join with the 10th, is another question. Will they ever escape this cold? Return to and reclaim the idyllic spaces of which Euless spoke?
Finished your war, Council?
Alphino and Alizé are to stay here as our prisoners. They will be released once your comrades have relinquished their supplies and withdrawn from Garlean soil. Until our terms are met, they will be detained at a separate location.
After everything we've said and done, this is how you treat us.
Our allies have but limited supplies. They may stave off cold and starvation for a short while, but what then?
For now, keeping yourselves out of harm's way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Garleans make, indulge them.
Get them out of here.
Isn't it amazing how quickly guest envoys can become ransom prisoners? Alright, do we want to go ahead and do whatever he wants us to talk about here, or do we want to call it here for the day?
I clicked before you started asking.
Okay. Alpha No Nalazé will be fine, providing they do not resist. Oh, that was easy. Alright, I guess we'll pick up the next quest next time.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Yeah, the second I'll wind down the stream. Alright, guys, that is where we are going to call this for today. And I will be back tomorrow, where we will keep on going. So, till then, I want to thank y'all for joining me. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I'll see y'all next time. Have a good night.